It's Monday night, Spyro Radio. It's time for yet another interview with an artist who is doing major bits right now. But right now, the artist is not only doing major bits, she is also a UK legend, a Camden legend. I'm talking Gemma Fox. What's happening, man?
Hey.
Do you like your intro, yeah?
I did, yes.
So you know what? It has been a little while since we've connected. Life is a little bit different for everybody right now. How are you and how are things?
Do you know, I've said this a few times now, but it's a very weird time for all of us, right? So it's very hard, it's very emotional, different sort of, some people are up and down at different times. But for me personally, it's been really tough. Obviously, we was on lockdown and having my son completely full-time, no breaks, and that was really tough. However, it's the first time in over 10 years that I've actually sort of got back into music, but I've been so creative. I mean, I've actually written 23 songs and I'm on so many different projects.
Wow.
So it's been really like opposite ends of the spectrum for me, it's been tough, but my most creative time.
That's amazing because everyone's got their own journey, and other people that I've asked to or I've interviewed on today's show, some people have found it difficult to be creative. They could do the admin side of things, for example, but for you to be sitting on 23, 24 tracks is amazing. Like, that is sick. Well done.
I don't even know how I've just gone with like the flow really, and every night it's just I've been writing and recording, and it's just I can't really explain it other than it's just I'm just being creative and going with it. So well, it's good to hear, man. I'm glad you're in a good space, in a good place. I'm going to take a little step back. This is the very first time you and I have ever done any kind of radio interview or phone interview. When was the last time you listened to the Messi album? Do you know what? I kind of just put it away a long time ago, but recently I got it out. Because people were like, I love Gone and I love Girlfriend Story. So I was sort of revisiting the songs and seeing like growth and so it was I would say probably just before lockdown, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say just before lockdown, just sort of looking back on the sort of, I guess, journey that I've had, not only in life, but even down to like writing and vocaling. It's so different what I'm doing now to then, but you can hear the maturity, if that makes sense. So it prior to lockdown, it was a long time ago.
Well, I'll take that as that was a really good, well-timed question, Jay Fresh. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But for you, my earliest memories of you as a musician is I was living in Watford at the time. This is about 2003-ish. And I was going to kind of Uptown, Black Market, Rhythm Division, all those places. And you were one of only a handful of female vocalists who are making tracks in that kind of world. But you were doing major bits. So at that time, I'm just trying to think, it was a little while ago now. I mean, Miss Dynamite, maybe Stush, Lady Sovereign, perhaps Estelle on the hip-hop side of things. We all know that music is so male-dominated, but especially back then, and especially the type of music and the genres, how challenging was that for you?
Well, do you know what? As a person, I think I probably look girly, but I'm quite a tomboy at heart. So in some aspects, it's like I didn't mind it because I'm kind of used to that. But I do think that it was a lot harder, especially as a singer, to get involved. So I used to sort of MC. I used to MC, so that was like my introduction to sort of get the mic, and then I'd sing.
Yeah.
So it was definitely sort of, I don't think you could sort of come out and just sort of do a song. You sort of had to kind of incorporate the sort of sound and the style, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and you had to very much be there. You had to be present at the raves and, the sort of DVDs, when everyone was doing the sort of DVD interviews and stuff. It's like, you were naturally around. So, it was like you had to kind of just be a part of it forcefully.
Force your way in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you did that, man. Like I said, that era and that time is when I first became aware of you musically. And I remember Rewind Mag and other publications and stuff like this. Obviously, pre-social media to any younger listeners to the radio show right now. But you were definitely put there and very much like the face of things as well. And then when you kind of signed record deals and things like this, how kind of old were you when this was happening to you?
Well, when I first sort of started going to studio, I was probably about 14, 15, around that age. And I was always sort of going off and on studio basically from that age. But I think when I put Messi out, I was probably 23, maybe. I was about 23, I would say. But with years of experience of, you know, clubs and underground and jungle and garage, you know, under my belt. So I think as I sort of began my own artist journey, it was definitely when garage was just starting to evolve, like grime started to come about. Do you know what I mean? So I would say about 22, 23. If I can remember.
And at that kind of age point, I mean, people sometimes forget the kind of struggle sometimes between artists and record labels and managers and all this stuff till something blows up on Twitter and it's, you know, Megan Thee Stallion or whoever it is. But at that time in your life and at that time in the industry, did you feel like there was any or much kind of financial guidance for young artists and people signing deals, or were people just kind of left to it?
Well, first of all, it's a completely different world to now. We didn't even have YouTube, you know. It was like you almost had to go via a record label if you were lucky enough to, you know, get your music out there, because there was no kind of real outlets other than sort of pirate radio, or you could press your records. Do you know what I mean? So we had to do a lot of physical stuff. You know, selling records physically out the boot of the car.
Yeah.
You know, and real groundwork, being, like I said, at the raves and stuff like that. But in terms of guidance, there certainly wasn't information available on this is like what managers do, and this is what they get, and this is what they're supposed to do, and this is when you get this money, this is what this means, and this is what you need to do with that, and what you're entitled to, and how it's broken down over the period of your contract. And there wasn't anything like that. And I think when you're young and impressionable, especially when you're very keen, and the deals back then were a very like big amount of money, you know, all you see is pound signs and all the things that you wanted.
Understandably, you know what I mean? Understandably, man.
So, you know, it's one of the things I talk about a lot now is like, you know, not only do people need to have a good, secure support network of friends, but they need financial advisors, and they also need the mental health support, because the music industry is, as much as it's amazing, you can do all these amazing things, it can be pretty savage. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, a lot of things, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, for you, in terms of your musical journey, you know, you kind of, as garage and grime and everything around that kind of evolved further, you then kind of had the wave with the kind of bassline scene and all the tracks there and remixes and stuff. And then obviously you're continuing after a brief hiatus to be putting music out. So I'd never, ever want to make any guest sound or feel old, because you're certainly not. But you've been in the game for a little while now, and staying relevant is a tricky balance for people, because you could be known as a legend or a veteran who then continues to make music that doesn't quite connect, or you were sick back in the day but haven't released a track for 20 years. So for you, you know, you are still putting out music and working on projects as mentioned. How is the kind of staying relevant side of things for you? Does it come naturally? Is it a little bit of a challenge? How is that?
Do you know what? I have to be honest. I think when I first sort of started out, obviously having all the different genres, because I did so many different, it was like 4/4, and then I did the R&B sort of commercial stuff, and as you said, you know, my songs took off in the bassline niche world as well. So I think because I've been in so many genres, I can bounce around for a start.
Yeah.
But I mean, now I'm definitely focusing on sort of the dance arena, which is sort of garage, bassline, house, that's for sure. So I'm definitely doing that. In terms of relevance, if I'm honest, I do care about it in the sense of a business, but I don't care about it. I'm just doing what comes naturally. And if people love it, I appreciate it. And I want to share it with the world. And if people don't like it, that's absolutely fine, because I'm not trying to force something down people's necks and go, I want to have a record deal, I want to be number one. I'm just sharing creativity. And if it works, it does. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's completely fine. And that's how I guess I'm just getting on with it, because I have just got that sort of let's get it done, but also sort of carefree, non-pressured attitude, I guess.
Is it quite relaxing then? Is there a sense that some of the real enjoyment of the music has come back to you because you're not focusing on targets or numbers, you're doing what feels right, putting things out in the best way and just seeing where it goes?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, so with what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just sort of, like letting people know I'm around again. But the new stuff is definitely different. People are probably not going to even expect that to be me, but you will definitely see growth. So it is different.
Well, I think it's time then that we talk about the brand new track that you sent over to me. Love, talk to me about it, please.
So Love is a track that I've done with Screamer, who is a sort of bass. He does a lot of different genres, but he's a bassline producer. And I just wanted to kind of continue with what I love, the music that I love, basically. The track is called Love. So it's basically sort of asking the question, what is love but a feeling? Do you know what I mean?
What a question that is.
Yeah. Because it really is. We know when we love our children or family members, or we love a hobby or something, but what is that? Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to kind of, I guess, go on a sort of bigger scale in terms of subjects, if that makes sense. And in regards to the video, I don't really want to perform to camera and do that stuff. I want it to be almost like mini movies of different things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're talking about a video with more of a narrative and a story than just performance based. Because I feel it's great to hear, because I feel with a visual side, I mean, I'm not a video director, but I feel that performance-based videos are cool and they're good and they can look sick. But if you've got something that you can tie like a deeper narrative to, then you can really tell the story. And perhaps even if the track doesn't connect straight away, people might go, the visual is crazy. And then that's another kind of avenue, as someone who has a lot of skills and someone who's diverse in your kind of business, that might be an avenue that you then end up doing more in.
Yeah, and to be honest, that just sums up, I guess, where I'm at, not only in life, but in terms of like creative music, is that I'm just at that point in life where I am just being free and creative, and it may work and it may bomb like nothing ever before, but it's just about having that freedom to go, I'm going to try that because I feel like I want to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
I just feel like at my age now, sort of doing probably, champagne bottle videos just a little bit. I don't think that's for me at the moment,
It's not for you right now. Maybe later, but for right now, okay. Well, do you know what? We spoke about it a lot, so I think it's time that we play the record, your new track right here at Pyro. If you can introduce it to us, please.
This is my new track, produced by Screamer, and it's called Love.